Hey everybody, it's June 26, 2012, and I've been asked by a couple of people to record my garden, my little patio garden. So I'm just going to go over each plant, talk a little bit about it. Here's my jalapeno. You see I have it in a plastic pot. I plant jalapenos every year. This is the tallest I've ever had, so I had to use a tomato cage to support it. And as you can see all the jalapenos on it. They're pretty spicy. I've tried them already. This is a patio prize tomato plant. You can see got a couple of tomatoes. It's so hot here in Mobile that the fruit isn't setting. The flowers come on it and they dry up and fall off, so I've been having to move it into shade in the afternoon to kind of cool it off. Here's a green bell pepper plant. I just planted it about a week and a half ago. It's already growing pretty well. I staked it because it needs support. And you see I got mulch at the bottom of my pot so it helps retain moisture. Here's Ava's zucchini that she planted. I got a little pink pot for her. And you see we have the first bloom on it. The first blooms that come out on squash plants are males. They will shrivel up and die off, and then behind it comes the female blooms, and behind the female blooms is where your squash will come from. So if you grow squash and these flowers fall off, don't panic. That's just the natural process of the plant. This is a burpless hybrid cucumber. It's great for containers. You don't have to put it on a trellis. And I also have lettuce planted in there. I just planted this last week and it's already growing pretty quickly. But you can't see the lettuce, it hasn't sprouted yet. Here's my topsy-turvies. This is a Better Boy tomato plant. And at first it wasn't doing well, but I'll talk about a little trick that you can do for your tomatoes to help them produce better. As you can see, I got some pretty good sized tomatoes in there. Here's my Roma. You see I got some tomatoes there. A lot over there. And the topsy-turvy is a little tricky. It takes a lot of patience and care. You have to water it correctly. This is a soil. Soil goes in here. And you water it up here. And you put the seedling, it comes out here. And you have to water them very slowly, or the water will just run out the bottom. But I'll talk a little bit about topsy-turvies. I'll do another one, another film. Here's a yellow squash. See, we have the male blooms right there. Come out. Here's a red bell pepper. It suffered from blossom end rot. I'll talk about that when I go inside. But I was able to treat it. So now it's doing really well. Another yellow squash. I love squash, so I've got 4 planted. This is an early girl tomato plant. Needs to be staked for support. They produce tomatoes within 50 days, so I'm looking forward to those. I have basil, chives. You can't really see them, but they're in there. And there's the parsley. Here's my okra plant. Okra loves hot heat. That's why it does well in the south. You see, here's a flower bloom. There's some okra coming out. I already picked a lot off the plant. And it gets pretty tall. It's probably going to get taller than this. Strawberries are very hard to grow. And the first year you plant them, they might not produce, and I'm learning that. But this plant will last through the season. I'm going to keep fertilizing it and watering it. And I should have strawberries next year, so I'm just being patient with that. Here's my lonely little radishes. They didn't do good at all. You see the caterpillars got to them. You see the holes in them. I planted them too close. I'm still learning. and they're not producing it. I'm going to pull these up and I'm going to plant something else in here. I'm probably going to plant some beans and some peas this weekend. So let's go inside, and I'm going to talk about some of the things I use for my garden to help it grow. I use Miracle Grow fertilizer for tomatoes and plant food. Some fertilizers are very high in nitrogen or other nutrients. You have to be careful what you use. Follow the directions on the box. You don't want to over fertilize, especially your tomatoes, because you have a ton of leaves and no tomatoes. So it's important to follow the directions on the box. Epsom salt, usually everybody has this in their household. I take a tablespoon of Epsom salt, dissolve it in about a cup of hot water, let it cool down, mix it in a gallon of cool water, and water your tomatoes or your roses with it, and they'll be, they'll really produce. So this Epsom salt helps a lot. As far as blossom end rot, when I talk about my peppers suffer from it, this is a blossom end rot spray. It's concentrated. You mix it with, you follow the directions on the bottle, and you mix it with some water, like a teaspoon. It's very strong, so you have to be careful when you use it. But blossom end rot is a calcium deficiency. Your tomatoes, your peppers, your melons, and your cucumbers can suffer from it. And pretty much where the flower falls off, you'll have rotted spots. And don't panic if you see it. You can fix your plants. You can either spray them down with this spray, or you can get pickling lime and YouTube it, blossom end rot. You can get pickling lime and you mix it with water, and you can water the plants with it, and it just adds a big dose of calcium to your plants. Next year, I'm going to incorporate eggshells into my soil, and that'll add a boost of calcium. You can also crush up Tums into a powder and mix it with water, and you can water with that, and that'll help. I've also heard people taking milk and mixing it with water and spraying their plants down with it. So there's a lot of things you can do to add calcium. I am trying my best to stay organic, and I don't like to use a lot of pesticides. That was one of my whole reasons of gardening. You get vegetables and fruits and stuff from the store. You don't know what they've put on it to kill the bugs and, to prevent them from eating it. So I use soapy water spray. I just put like a little tiny drop in this bottle, fill it up with water, and shake it up. Spray your plants down with it. It kills soft body insects. It does not kill hard body insects, but what it does, the soap shrivels up. Say for example, I had a problem with armyworms, which is a type of caterpillar. The soap spray will dry the armyworm's body up, and it'll kill it. So I use this every other week. You don't want to use it too much because it can be bad for your plants, but you want to be careful with it. There's also other recipes you can YouTube for natural pesticide use. You can make a spray by blending water with jalapenos, and there's a lot of different stuff that you can do to prevent pests from eating up your garden. So as you can see, I got tons of basil that I've picked. You have to keep picking it or the plant will decline. So I've got basil everywhere, and parsley, same thing with parsley. And then I've got in my windowsill, my kitchen windowsill, I've got rosemary. This is 2 rosemary cuttings. I'm gonna waiting for those to root, and I'm gonna transplant them. My basil is doing, you can see the roots on it coming out. I'm gonna plant those probably Friday. I gotta go get some more soil. And then my potato, this takes a while. I'm sure you've probably done this in class in school. It takes a while to sprout out, but it's very rewarding. Potatoes like cooler weather better, so I'm not going to plant it in the summer because it'll just die. So I'm going to wait till the fall till it gets cooler. But that's my little patio garden you can see outside my kitchen window. And you have any questions, just ask me through the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.